Hello, how are you? If you're good, great, happy. If not, I'm glad you're here. When we have human interaction, I think it's really important to keep perspective in mind. I had a meeting today about a project that I'm going to be involved with, and when I was looking over the materials before this meeting, some of the material I got, and some of it I just didn't understand at all. I thought it was subpar, let's say. I thought I didn't get it. It didn't match the rest of the stuff, and I felt like it was like low effort, just sort of a throwaway type thing. And it wasn't until that person was able to kind of explain to me the perspective that the material was coming from, and then all of a sudden things sort of clicked. Suddenly it made perfect sense, and I was on board. So I think that that's something that we can carry on into daily life where, taking something at face value, sure, sometimes that's all you have to go on. But I think if you start to dig a little bit deeper and maybe ask a question or two about, why? Why why did you think this way, or why did you do this? Why did you write that? I think that gives us a really good indication of where that person is coming from. It can help us understand people a little bit better and maybe help us learn from each other a little bit more. I don't know if this works in all situations. I think that maybe even sometimes when you learn more about a particular person's point of view from their perspective, it might even get worse. Like, if you realize that maybe there's some negativity coming from somebody and you give them the benefit of the doubt, but then when you talk to them a little bit more about it, you learn that maybe it's coming from a place of hatred or bigotry, and then you kind of just dismiss the whole thing. And to be honest, I'm actually supportive of that. I think you might want to reject something outright if it just doesn't agree or gel with your personal opinions. I think that life is pretty short, and if you give things a try and they're just not compatible, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to force compatibility with somebody who just doesn't see things the same way you do. Now, that is not to say to make your bubble small. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of social media does. You can choose who and where you get your information from. And if you only accept the sources that agree with your personal opinions, you're not going to learn anything and you're not going to grow at all. I think you need to be exposed to different opinions about different things to broaden your own horizon about how things are. I guess I'm getting a little boring talking about such broad, vague topics, but I do that only because if I start getting into specifics, then people can look at particular concepts that I'm trying to talk about and either shut down or just click thumbs up, yep, I agree, and move on. I think if I'm going to have a purpose here, I think that purpose is to try and make people think, maybe make myself think a little bit more, be more accepting of other people, and hopefully they'll be more accepting of me. Maybe I'll be more accepting of myself in the process. So, no big long rambling today. I'm just having a quick thought, and I wanted to share it so that maybe one day when I rewatch these videos, I might remember that I used to be in a place where I would take things a little bit too literally and a little bit too much surface level. And I need to remind myself to look a little deeper in most of these situations and try to be a little more empathetic to other people's opinions and positions. So I hope you have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.